Hello, everybody. Welcome to Josh Dell'Aria's Musical Escapades. My name's Josh Dell'Aria, your host, and as you know, I love finding musicians out of complete nowhere, and here's a great case in point. I don't know if you guys remember the old browse feature that iTunes used to have, but I've been using it a lot lately, and I will tell you, I never really expected to find a 2019 musician by using it, but it so happened, so I was excited about that. So I searched for bluegrass not too long ago, and I wound up finding this young lady, Amanda Cook, who I guess started a bluegrass band with her father, and then a few years later decided to start her own bluegrass band. Other than that, I don't really know too much about her, aside from the fact that she grew up in Florida, but now lives in Virginia, and seems to like the southern part of the United States quite a bit, just like me. And of course, she also has a beautiful voice and some beautiful instruments playing in the background as well. And Amanda released an album earlier this year called Point of No Return. I think it's her third album. And I have here the title track that I will go ahead and share with you. And it's a 2019 album, so obviously I'm going to go ahead and decide whether or not I'm going to nominate this song by the time the review's over. So here it is.
I'm going undercover, going where I've never been. I never use a map, but I could always use a friend. I'm not running from resistance, I'm not looking for myself. It's just time to take the road, my ambition's all pushing. There's a restless wind blowing through my window tonight, singing melodies that I ain't never heard, telling me to hit the gas, turn left and right, and that I've got plenty highway left to burn, searching for the point of no return. Sometimes life can feel so pointless, like you're just an old machine. You barely live until you die in an everyday routine. But I feel a change coming, my own epiphany. And if you feel it in your heart, you can come and ride with me. There's a restless wind blowing through my window tonight, singing melodies that I ain't never heard, telling me to hit the gas, turn left and then right, and that I've got plenty highway left to burn, searching for the point of no return. Wind blowing through my window tonight, singing melodies that I ain't never heard, telling me to hit the gas, turn left and then right, that I've got plenty highway left to burn, searching for the point of no return. And it's 1,000 miles to Texas, but I might stop in Tennessee, 'cause all these mountains in the distance are echoing whatever's calling me. There's a restless wind blowing through my window tonight, singing melodies that I ain't never heard, telling me to hit the gas, turn left and then right, and that I've got plenty highway left to burn, searching for the point of no return.
Alright, so I really like the way that Amanda Cook starts this song on a flat 7th chord. Now, see, I think in a lot of major key songs like this one, it's pretty common to use the 7th chord in the course of the song. It's not common to start with a 7th chord like that. And Amanda Cook keeps coming back to it, but I really like the idea that she starts with it, because it makes it seem even more plausible that it's just supposed to be just a part of the song as you go forward through that song. See, the other thing that this flat 7th chord does is it kind of tones down the kind of over happiness that a major scale can provide. So if you were to stick to a strict major scale, obviously it's supposed to sound very happy. So it would sound like this. It's all good and well to keep the song happy, and I think it's a good thing to have that kind of bright mood for this song. But if you just stick to that scale, it can kind of sound overly happy sometimes. So by adding this flat 7, the scale still sounds kind of happy, but not like overly so. It's a little bit more dialed back in some ways. And I think it's important to have that in a song like this where there is some semblance of adventure going on. So there's always a little bit of a risk to an adventure. And I think Amanda realizes that, and I think that's a good way of kind of signaling that, you know, this song is not necessarily just a straight out happy road with no adversity or tragedy or anything like that. So I think it really fits well for this type of music. Alright, I also want to take a moment to highlight the lyrics here, particularly in the second verse. These lines are really, really nice.
Sometimes life can feel so pointless, like you're just an old machine. You barely live until you die in an everyday routine. But I feel a change coming, my own epiphany. And if you feel it in your heart, can come and ride with me.
Yeah, one of the things that I think Amanda does an excellent job of is really coming up with some very original lyrics. And I'm not quite sure how those lines really come together. I do think that if a musician is really inspired enough, that those words can come together just like all of a sudden. And it's a pretty easy thing to fit that into a song. But I think sometimes you do kind of have to tinker around with words a little bit, make sure you're kind of getting at what you really want to get at in the best way possible. One of the cool things about that particular line, like you merely live until you die in an everyday routine, it's just something that I've never heard before, and I love that. I love it when musicians come up with really original lines, because it means that they're thinking, and you know, they may not necessarily have that conscious thought to have that come together. It may just pop into their heads. But whatever way that happens, it's a good sign to me, because they're not just trying to come up with a cliche that they think that you've heard of a million times before, and they think that that's what's going to draw you into their songs. I just find that so many musicians seem to make this mistake that they think that just by thinking about cliches and putting them in their songs, that that's going to draw listeners into their songs, and it really doesn't. So I'm glad that Amanda can come up with great lines that are not just completely unoriginal. Alright, let me hop to the chorus from here.
There's a restless wind blowing through my window tonight, singing melodies that I ain't never heard, telling me to hit the gas, turn left, then a right, and that I've got plenty highway left to burn, searching for the point of no return.
So that first line, there's a restless wind blowing through my window tonight, that's a really important line in terms of contour. So what she's doing in there is she's been plotting through the verse, like, down in this area here, blah, 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 blah. And so when she goes up to those kind of higher notes in the chorus, it really makes a great contrast between the verses and the chorus. And I think it really helps brighten the song up and give a lot more spice and variety to the song. Alright, from here let me go into the solos. So there are two things that can really make a solo sound excellent, and one of them is spacing, and the other one is phrasing. Spacing basically means putting a pause, a space, in between sets of notes. So there's a difference between this and this. So did you notice that I played the exact same set of notes both times? I just put spaces in between some of the notes the first time and not the second time. Which one sounds more interesting to you, the one with spaces or without spaces? I would presume it would be the one with spaces, because it actually sounds like the instruments are taking sort of a breath in between each little phrase. And that's basically the way you want to make a lot of solos sound, is that like they're almost like human voices in the sense that they have to take time to space out separate parts. Now, Amanda's band here doesn't necessarily do all that much spacing in this particular solo, but there's one other way that a band can make a really good solo, and that is by phrasing. And phrasing basically means just making sure you're playing different notes at different sound levels, like different dynamics, different loudness, essentially. So there's a difference between playing like this and like this. You hear the second time around I played it a little bit quieter to begin with, and then I picked up the noise a little bit more as time went on. That's basically phrasing, and Amanda's band does an excellent job of that in the solo, which is why I think the solo is really great, and it still makes it sound like the solo is taking breaths. Even though they're not necessarily putting space in the solo, it still will give that same air of kind of like living, breathing solo. Okay, I do want to comment on this bridge too a little bit. I don't know if I need to play it again, but one of the cool things about it is that it actually came out pretty unexpectedly, since we already had solos pass by at that point in the song. And it just came out rather suddenly, which I actually kind of like, because then it catches your attention and all that sort of stuff, and you don't have to think, oh wait, did we have a solo? No, wait, did we have a bridge? So it's good that it's really clearly in there, and then it goes in a different direction really fast. And lastly, I'm going to go ahead and play that final chorus here, because it is very well set up by the bridge, and I want to comment on why I think it is actually done very well.
There's a restless wind blowing through my window tonight, singing melodies that I ain't never heard, telling me to hit the gas, turn left and then around, and that I've got plenty highway left to run, searching for the point of no return.
So the biggest thing is that first line again, there's a restless wind blowing through my window tonight. I love these higher notes that she goes up to that really feed from the energy of the bridge. So I think that's a really well done phrase right there. And I also like that she only went through that final chorus once. I know a lot of musicians would be tempted to go through it a second time, but the thing about going through the chorus a second time is I think you really have to make the energy bigger on the second run through if you're going to do it the last time around. So she would actually have to make that sound more energetic than it was the first time around coming off the bridge. But the thing is, with all the energy that she has coming off the bridge into that final chorus, it would be really hard for her to make something great out of a second iteration of that chorus. So I think it's a really smart idea only to have that played once, so that you can give it a lot of finality and not have a lot of extra stuff that really doesn't need to be there. So of course the most important question is this song going to be nominated for the top 20? And the answer of course is yes. I think with a lot of Amanda's phrasing and her ability to write great lyrics and just the overall content of the song, I really think this song deserves a shot at the top 20. That's all I have on this song today. Thank you all for watching, and if you guys like Amanda Cook, you can go visit her website, amandacookbluegrass.com. And of course, as I always do, I'll mention all her social media links in the description below. And as always, if you or anybody that you know has made some great music that you want to share with the world, tell me about it, because I will always listen to all your suggestions. You can send me an email here at joshdell'ariasmusicalescapades@gmail.com, or you can send me a Facebook message on my Facebook page, facebook.com/JoshD'sMusicalEscapades, or you can just leave it down in the comments below, and again, I will listen, and you never know, it may wind up here on the show. Thank you all again for watching, and until next time, go make great music, everybody.